Honourable Government Deputy House Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, I actually feel sorry for this member. I genuinely believe that he's one of the more progressive ones in his party, yet somehow he seems to be sucked down the rabbit hole of the member from Carleton and his talking points. You know, I genuinely don't believe that this member thinks that the inflationary impact has to do with the government spending. He must know that it has more to do with global issues such as the war in Ukraine, the fact that every other country in this world, in the developed world, is also experiencing inflation. Can he not at least, perhaps just agree that there are other factors that contribute to inflation?
The Honourable Member for Parry Sound Muskoka.
I would note that my Liberal friends like me a lot more when I agree with them, but he's patently wrong in this particular circumstance. We've heard from the Governor of the Bank of Canada, who said that inflationary borrowing and spending is actually exacerbating inflation. It's not the only reason, I'll grant him that. We've also heard from a former Liberal finance minister about the same topic, that excessive borrowing and inflationary spending is driving things up more expensive. We've heard from Scotiabank economists. I'm not making it up, and I know he despises the member for Carleton, but the member of Carleton is absolutely correct, and he's not quoting his own numbers. He's quoting numbers that we're hearing from the experts. I don't know why the Liberals don't agree with the experts, but the facts are there, and I just wish they would listen to them as opposed to their own Liberal talking points from the PMO.
Questions and comments? The Honourable for Timmins James Bay.
I listened with great interest, and I got great respect for my colleague, who's almost from the north, but not quite. But the problem is that the Conservatives pretend inflation just happened. I mean, I'm looking at inflationary jumps that have gone on for some time. For example, the member for Regina Capel, who when he was Speaker began doing fundraisers for $125 a plate where you could have cigars. But by the time 4 years on, it was $175 a plate to come out and have cigars and so this is a huge inflationary jump.
I have a point of order. The Honourable Member for Calgary Rocky Ridge.
The member's comments are neither comments on the member's speech nor on the motion. Relevance.
So, again, I do want to remind members that speeches and comments should be related to the matter that's before the House. If the Honourable Member can do the link there, that would be great. The Honourable Member for Timmins James Bay.
Trying to raise questions about the Conservatives' use of inflation to jump up prices for tickets for when the member for Regina Capel was Speaker and doing fundraisers. That's a dramatic increase, and I think that needs to be explained. Was that world global figures? Was that the Liberals? Or was that the member for Regina Capel who...
Again, I didn't see the relation to the actual bill that's before the House. I don't know if the Honourable Member for Parry Sound Muskoka wishes to weigh in on this here, but I'm not sure if he's able to relate it to the bill as well. The Honourable Member for Parry Sound Muskoka.
Yeah, it was a little jumbled. I'll grant you that, Madam Speaker. I think you're quite justified in being confused by what he was talking about or trying to come up with. But the fact of the matter is, inflation is definitely far worse over the last few years of this government. It's spiked because of exactly what I've been talking about. And so, while inflation has always existed, it is certainly a lot worse now and exacerbated by this government.
Again, I don't think that either the question or the comment had any relation to the bill that's before the House on anti-scab legislation, but anyhow, we will go to the next question. The Honourable Member for Central Okanagan, Similkameen Nicola. Brief question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to ask this particular member to maybe talk a little bit more about inflation and how it is affecting people who work, particularly the working men and working women right across this country, unionized or not. Maybe there's a message here that he'd like to share with them on, especially in relation to the member of Carleton's message to give them some hope around the corner.
The Honourable Member for Parry Sound Muskoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, my honourable colleague, for the question. But the labour strike that exists in this country is in large part because life is too expensive. And so while it's important for the rights of workers to bargain collectively, it's also important for those workers to be able to afford to put food on the table, to heat their homes, to drive to work if they need to drive to work. And this government's making it more expensive with their inflationary spending and their carbon taxes on everything.